Now that we have added our first plan design to the current dual choice plan group, we need to get better acquainted with plan designs in Dynamis. We're probably used to plan designs physically being represented by columns on a spreadsheet. So let's take a closer look at a plan design. First of all, you'll notice this tab here. This is what we call the plan design label. So like we mentioned, it's almost like putting a manila folder in the plan group. It even kind of looks like a manila folder. And the key here is notice that there's an option box. So while we had options on the plan group header that represent options for the whole group or set of plans, each individual plan design has its own options as well. So just like the plan group, I can go to rename design. And while the default name of my plan design is whatever the medical plan name is, I can customize that as well. So let's go ahead and name this the 2000 base plan. Click rename, and now we can see that plan design has a new name. If we take a closer look down below, you'll notice what we call the coverage diagram. So the coverage diagram shows a visual representation of the deductible, coinsurance, and max out-of-pocket. And I can actually go and click on an enrollment type and toggle that coverage diagram for the specific enrollment type. So the coverage diagram introduces a theme in that we will be using visuals where we can in Dynamis. The key is that over 60% of employers self-identify as being visual learners. So we are going to try and provide visual references as tools to assist in those that would rather process information with pictures and charts and graphs than with rows and tables and columns. And that's part of the reason why this whole process is cumbersome sometimes for employers, is that we're trying to work with visual learners who want to process information in terms of those visuals, those pictures and graphs. And when we try and present information that's in rows and cells and tables and columns, it's a mismatch for their learning style. So visuals will be a big part of Dynamis. Now above we get to the table. And from a navigation standpoint, the important piece is that the dashboard really navigates similar to a website in that there are links that take us other places. So for instance, under enrollment counts, if I click on that blue 11, it's going to take me to enrollment counts where I can make edits. All right, same with premiums. I can click on any of the blue numbers or the word premium. It's going to take me to premiums. So that's an important piece of navigation, is clicking on those blue links. Now, when we get to the idea of the benefits in the dashboard, those really are on the left-hand side. And you'll notice that the only information we display from a benefit perspective in the dashboard all the time is the deductible, coinsurance, and max out-of-pocket. And we show that all the time because employers clearly identified that as the most important structural component of their medical plan. But along with the deductible, coinsurance, and max out-of-pocket, there's also the idea of some services are preempted with copays instead of deductible coinsurance, and also the idea of RX. So the key is that we're very careful about how much information we display in the dashboard, because we can only visually process so much. So that's an important key concept, that while we're sensitive to the amount of information we display in the dashboard, we're going to allow you access to that information when you need it. Notice the word medical plan in blue. So I can click on medical plan and pull up those services that have copays associated. So when I need to discuss copays, I'm able to do that. But just as importantly, when I click on medical plan again, it collapses. Same with RX. I can click on RX and get to our RX information. But again, it's not something that needs to be displayed all the time. So when we're not focusing RX, I can click on that and collapse that information as well. Right now on the right-hand side, we get to the financials. Monthly premium is probably typical, but this is going to be an important piece that we look at in Dynamis, the idea of premium share being a part of all of our plan designs. Sounds like a relatively easy concept, but it really transforms the way we're able to guide those decisions. And notice that when we add a plan design, the default premium share is 100% employer paid. That's really key because it gives us the total premium before we start to split it up with the employees. So the 131,616, while that represents the employer cost, since we start off at 100% employer paid, that really gets us to that gross premium for that plan design. Notice my plan design cost is in blue. If I click on that, I'm able to get a breakdown of those numbers monthly, so that if I'm trying to match up a renewal exhibit that's using monthly premium, I'm able to quickly access that in our plan design cost breakdown. Then I could just close it out here on the X. So in our next tutorial, we'll spend a little more time talking about the importance of premium share and how that really allows us to present to the employer from the perspective that's most important to them.